gives me the willies just seeing
It's
that scar.
gnarly, but I've caught a lot of stuff from it back home, and they're like, "Oh, maybe we won't go watch you in Grand Rapids next year. You can play 50 seconds again." So
You're either on the bus or you're off the bus.
Welcome aboard. Episode 52 of Riding the Bus, the official Iowa Wild podcast, is on the way. Ben Gislason here coming to you from inside the Iowa Wild locker. I'm great to have you with us here today for another episode. Lots to check in on. The offseason is, as always, rolling along very quickly as we're at the end of July already, looking at August, and then after that, September, and that's really when we, at least in the hockey business, kiss the offseason goodbye. It's prospect camp, it's prospect tournament, it's training camp Minnesota, training camp Iowa, and then before you know it, we'll have the opener here at Casey Center at the second weekend of October. The schedule is out. We've got free agency is over. We have an idea what the team might look like. We know what the schedule will look like. Lots to get into here today on this episode. And we have a great guest in Brad Marek, who recently signed an NHL contract, his first he's ever signed, an undrafted player who's really earned and burned his way all the way up the rosters of different teams to get to this spot. He's on the doorstep of the NHL, and he and I caught up about that as well. And an overall just terrific guy. Our fans know him well from his time that was cut short last year due to a wrist injury, but he's healthy, he's happy, and he's looking forward to try to push the envelope and try to maybe make an NHL debut this season with the Minnesota Wild. But a really fun chat with Brad on the way, but some items to get to before we get to Brad. Let's start with the biggest news of recent weeks, and as this episode comes out, it will have came out at the end of last week. The Iowa Wild officially playing in their first ever outdoor game. It will be on January 23rd as a part of Hockey Day in Minnesota weekend up in Hastings, Minnesota. What a dream come true for everybody involved. It was something that I got tipped off on actually during the season. I think it was February or March maybe when I first caught wind of it. Didn't have a lot of details, didn't know a lot, but knew enough. And as a Minnesotan, as someone who grew up playing outdoors, my dad would just work and work and work to the bone overnight, sometimes putting up a rink for me in the backyard. That was something that I'll never forget in my life and hockey career. Outdoor games, playing outdoors on the pond is something that is a part of all of our lives in some way, shape, or form as a hockey player, even if you come from a non-frozen state. You dream about the opportunity to play outdoors and to play outside, and that's exactly what the Iowa Wild are going to get to do against the Milwaukee Admirals. A huge congratulations to the Minnesota Wild for this, to the American Hockey League for this, to the United Heroes League, who's the ones that they're putting on this event in Hastings for the 20th anniversary of Hockey Day in Minnesota. So it's going to be a real celebration that day, and you'll get to know more as the weeks go by here about what exactly it's going to look like. I can give you a little bit of a hint towards what we might see out there. I got to go up a couple of weeks ago and check out the site. It's not built yet, but a lot of the framework has been built in Hastings, and met with Shane Hudella, who's the CEO and the president of the organization, United Heroes League, and has done some incredible work. You should check out their website. They do spectacular stuff for veterans and their families around the country through hockey, through baseball, just through pro sports in general. It's a great organization. But you're going to want to check out the United Heroes League as well as this game. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime event, and just 5,000 seats. So, granted, I do believe that you can come to the event even if you don't go to the game or can't find a seat in the grandstand there. You can come because there's going to be more to do than just watch the game. If you show up, there's going to be a little village built around the ice rink as well, where there'll be hot cocoa and food and beverages and warming houses, place to hang out, campfires, almost a very small Olympic village, if you will. And then the one thing that I was told that's going to be, I think, just an out-of-this-world experience, again, for the hockey players, for those who want to get out on skates, for those who want to live that true Minnesota winter hockey player life. They're building, I think it's almost a mile of a ice trail that goes into the woods by the arena, and it's lit by Christmas lights. I mean, talk about a majestic experience. I'll be bringing my wheels, I think. I don't know if maybe I can throw them in one of our coaches' bags or something. But I want to skate that path. I think of it like Mystery Alaska, skating the river. It's going to feel like that. So it's going to be a magnificent event. Again, January 23rd for season ticket holders that haven't seen this yet. Again, if you haven't, please reach out quickly to your representatives, because Friday, July 25th for full season ticket holders is the deadline for when you can reach out to your representatives and you can claim your tickets to that game. You have to do that. You don't just automatically get rolled over. The same for partial season ticket holders. That's August 1 is that deadline, because then again, August 4th is where they go on sale to everybody. And Minnesotans are going to come to this game because I think for us, we have one of the best NHL fan bases that pays attention to us in Iowa. One, because of the proximity. Two, just because Minnesota is full of hockey nuts, like me, like my family, like all my friends. They really care about not only the Minnesota Wild, but who's on the way up to help fill some of the voids for the Minnesota Wild up top. So people are going to go to this game. So if you're in Iowa and you are a season ticket holder and you want to go, do not miss these deadlines. Make sure to get that done. Again, January 23rd in Hastings when this game will be taking place. Schedule-wise, aside from that game, which was the highlight, the headline of everything, the schedule's been out now for a little bit here. Highlights for me, great to have Joe Hickett's coming back in the Ontario Reign. Nice trip for the Wild out to Ontario, California. Tucson, one of my favorite sneaky spots in the American Hockey League. Will be great to have the Roadrunners back in the building as well. And Toronto, looking forward to getting up to Toronto, seeing the Marlies come into town. The Wild and the Marlies will be playing 4 times this season, and perhaps the return of Dakota Mermis could be the return of Travis Boyd. Those guys are on two-way deals, but we'll see where they're at when the Wild play the Marlies, not only in November, but then when the Wild take on the Marlies as well here at Casey Center. So could be some nice returns for some players that I know Wild fans here in Des Moines came to love, and certainly Dakota Mermis, someone that everybody misses dearly, myself included, one of the true great guys you'll come across in hockey, and a guest on the Ridin the Bus podcast as well. So a good schedule. Looking forward to some of the big games this season. We'll have a promotional schedule coming out as well here in the coming weeks, so you can know not only who we're playing, but what's going on that night for the given home game. Lastly, before we get to Brad Marek, as I take a slug of water, still getting acclimated to not having another co-host with me. It's a lot of airtime to fill, and I know people are saying, well, Ben, when you're on the road, you fill 3.5 hours without a color commentator, unless you get an injured player, and I sometimes harangue somebody to come up there and help me out. But nonetheless, working that out, getting used to filling all this air on the podcast here without a co-host and a chance to breathe, take a slug of water, grab a breath, clear my throat, etc. Want to get to, and I can't stress this enough, this is not a hockey operations depth chart by any stretch of the imagination. Just looking at what the Wild have: Minnesota, 2-way NHL contracts, Iowa AHL contracts, ECHL Heartlanders 2-way contracts, guys that we could potentially see in the fold this season for the Iowa Wild. People that we should be excited about. First and foremost, Hunter Haight and Riley Heidt. What could these two do together? Height, of course, tremendously celebrated player in the WHL, had marvelous success out there, a scorer, a playmaker, facilitator. He'll likely get some minutes with Hunter Haight this season, and those two together could be a whole lot of fun to watch. Haight, to me, is someone that is right on the doorstep of stepping into potentially being a star-type player in the American Hockey League. He had a fabulous year last year, north of 20 goals as a rookie, on a team that, let's face it, didn't score a lot of goals. Hunter Haight scored a lot of the goals the Iowa Wild scored last year, and I think he's going to be featured in every situation this year and is going to really have the opportunity to take the reins and run with it. I'm really excited to see what he can do in year two. And then some guys up front that brought into the fold. Could we see them? Could we not? Yes, it will depend on how their camp shakes out in Minnesota, but some fabulous veteran types, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, who's got NHL games behind him, Tyler Pitlick, who's got primarily NHL games behind him, and then the return of Ben Jones, who played a pivotal role for this team last year. Brad Marek's going to talk about how great of a center iceman Ben Jones is and how much Brad's learned from Ben on the dot, but just a player that played crucial minutes, played crucial roles, and that the coaching staff spoke really highly about in Ben Jones. From a veteran perspective, you look at those players to really help drive this ship if we do see them. There's Vinny Hinostroza with the Minnesota Wild. Right now, you'd probably slot him to be with Minnesota, but could we wind up seeing him for some stretch of time? Let's not forget Vinny Hinostroza, before he went up to Nashville pretty much for good around Christmas time last year, was the leading scorer in the American Hockey League with Milwaukee. If Iowa gets a healthy look at him, that's going to be a serious piece to have on a team that will probably score a lot of goals because of him. He's just a dynamite scoring player in the American Hockey League. Maybe we see him, maybe we don't. You're probably not looking at Jesper Wallstedt. You're probably not looking at David Juracek. Probably not going to expect to see those guys. Liam Ogren, wouldn't expect to see him. Danila Yurov, lots of question marks there with if he's not going to play in the NHL, is he going to come to Iowa or will he go back to the KHL? Always a question mark when it comes to Russians because oftentimes you've seen it. They won't come down to the AHL. They'll go to the KHL, and then they'll come back when Minnesota deems they're ready. We'll see on Yurov, but obviously that's a player who Minnesota should be really excited about with how well he is projected to do in the National Hockey League and how well he did in the KHL, specifically last season. And what I'm really excited about with this Iowa Wild team this year, and there's some exciting forwards up front. Mikey Milne is back. Brad Marek is obviously back into the fold. Ryan Sandelin comes back into the Iowa Wild fold. Could we see Rasmus Kumpalainen, a second-round pick, big, rangy player who's got a good frame? But the blue line and the goaltending situation for Iowa this year could be pretty great. Great signings, I thought. Matt Kiersted, who was a fabulous defenseman for a team that was a few wins away from a Calder Cup this year in Charlotte. Kiersted played the most minutes of any Checkers defenseman last year, and he's a dynamite blue liner. I loved watching him play in the 4 games we saw him play against Iowa last year. And then you bring in Ben Gleason, another player that fans might be familiar with from his time with the Texas Stars. Good veteran player. Should start, though, with Carson Lambos and the great year he had last year. Carson's going to push for Minnesota. And is there room up there? Injury-wise, maybe. Where's Jonas Brodin at come the start of the season? That'd be one of my question marks, because if he's not ready to go, then you might be without a Lambos or a Kiersted or a Gleason or somebody trying to push for that 7-8 spot up in Minnesota. But even without one of those guys, you're still looking at Kiersted, Gleason, David Spacek's back. Jack Peart made wonderful strides. Wyatt Newpower, a good signing, who I remember from his time in Grand Rapids, playing for none other than Ben Simon, Wild assistant coach. So there are these options there, and then you look at the goaltending, and you look at Samuel Halavai, and boy, I may have buried the lead because he might be the biggest reason fans should be excited for the Iowa Wild this year. What an end of the season he had last year. And if he comes back and if he takes the summer seriously and if he comes back ready to go and in shape and ready to jump right from the get-go, it might be hard to score on the Wild this year. When you look at Halavai, you look at the blue line, and then a team that's got some potency up front too. So I'm excited about the team. Everybody likes their club in July. That's just the truth. However, this team's got some reasons to be excited, and with a coach like Greg Cronin, who his winning pedigree cannot be denied, Wild fans should be starting to get excited about this team. We'll see what happens when the puck drops in October. Looking forward to the home opener then. At that, let's pivot to period 2. Let's get to Brad Marek, a wonderful chat with a wonderful guy. Wild centerman, a member of the Mojo line as well. We'll see if the Mojo line, Ryan Sandelin's back. Will there be another player that jumps into that line this year without Adam Raska around? Only time will tell. But the great Brad Marek now here on Ridin the Bus. Joined now by recently re-signed to an NHL two-way contract, forward from the Iowa Wild last season, and he'll be a forward again with the Iowa Wild and maybe the Minnesota Wild this season. Brad Marek is with us here today. Brad, it's great to catch up with you. I understand you are healthy, which is great news for everybody involved because we only got to see a very small sample size of Brad Marek last season, and you already became a fan favorite in only about a half a season's games worth of play. So it's great to have you on with us here, and how's the offseason been treating you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ben. Off season's been great. It's been good to spend time with family, and you know how it goes in this industry. You get 3-4 months off and just kind of relax for a bit. But now it's back to work, and I'm really excited to get back out and get to Minnesota and then down to Des Moines.
Before we get to our bus story, because we always start with that. Wrist is good, healthy, in the gym,
Wrist
on
is
the ice,
good,
right? Oh
healthy.
man, gives me the willies just seeing that
It's
scar.
gnarly, but it's. I've caught a lot of stuff from it back home, and they're like, "Oh, maybe we won't go watch you in Grand Rapids next year. You can play 50 seconds again." So hopefully it goes a little better. But
No doubt. Well, as always, your first time on riding the bus, so let's start with a great bus story. Travel delays, long days of travel, and you're one of the guys that's seen time in the ECHL, which, I mean, I've heard some horror stories from that league. Not that the American League doesn't have plenty of horror stories, or even I've heard some National League horror stories too. But what comes to mind when I say a great bus story that'll make a few people laugh?
probably my freshman year of college, actually. As soon as when I think of a long bus ride, we had, I think it was 14 hours to Minnesota State, so we were leaving at like 7 in the morning, and we were gonna get there super late at night. It was just kind of how it worked out. We had like finals or something, so guys are trying to prepare for that, and so everybody's in kind of a bad mood, anyways. And it's snowing real bad and whatever. And our coach decides like he lived 45 minutes north, so we had to go that way anyways. So we were just gonna pick him up, and it's like 6:30 in the morning. We take off. We're all gassed, tired, whatever. It's been a long week. And we get up to where we're meeting them, whatever, and we pull in fine and whatever. And we're going to back out of the parking lot, and our bus driver, Joe, gets stuck in the snow, right? So it's not the seniors are sleeping in the back, the juniors are back there, and it's like, all right, fellas, it's your turn to go push the bus out. So all seven of us freshmen hop out there in the I don't know, foot and a half deep snow, and it's not plowed. It's of course, why would it be? And we're trying to push and trying to do, and it ended up being a really good like team building activity for us because we we couldn't move the bus, and so then we had to eventually get the tow truck, but it was good stuff though. That was terrible. Then you had another 14 hours to it, and it was awful.
Do you remember how long it wound up being, including the delay? Like, how long were you stuck there for?
Probably a good hour at least.
Oh,
Yeah, it was terrible. Just sit, and we're mad at like coach. Come on, you could have drove up, and we wouldn't have been stuck. But it's a good story. We all talk about it still.
you bring up the camaraderie and the bonding. How did that series go with Mankato? Do you remember?
I don't remember if that's the time we swept them, but that's what I correlate it to.
Yeah, of course.
They probably beat us. Don't ask Ryan Sandlin.
I'm sure if you guys did sweep them that weekend, your coach probably brought up the bus getting stuck in
Yeah,
his post-weekend
yeah,
wrap
exactly.
up. We bonded together and we took them down.
Right. Right.
Okay, the bus is rolling, the wheels are rolling. We're off and skating here on Riding the Bus. Brad, off season is the same for a lot of guys. For you, once you get healthier in the gym, you're on the ice. But I've also learned talking with you, hockey camp. You've got a hockey camp going on out in your hometown of Big Rapids. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it just wrapped up last week. I was fortunate enough to get with the rink coordinator here in the university. A little tougher, because it is owned by the university, but I thought it'd be an amazing opportunity of the rink I grew up playing in. I same age as these kids coming through, and I just thought it'd be really cool to hold a camp, even if it was a week long, and that's all it was. And it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun, and it was rewarding to see the kids on that last day, like do some of the things in the scrimmage that we had talked about or learned, or and I was very fortunate to have my dad help me, so that was a really cool experience, and my best friend was able to join as well too. So really grateful for them. They took the week off work because I wouldn't be able to take care of 20 some odd kids by myself. But just cool to give back, right? I mean, that's why we play the game, and little cool moments we can share along the way of our experience and stuff like that.
I remember getting the opportunity as a kid in Minnesota. Whenever you get around a player of your caliber, when you're a kid, AHL, NHL, you have questions, right? Were there
Yeah.
questions that you can remember getting from some of these young skaters? That what were they asking you? I'm curious.
Yeah, can we see your fights? That's I'm like, guys, we're talking about stick handling right now. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not the best stick handler in the world, but I can teach you something, I think, you know? They're like, no, we want to see your fights. Okay.
So you showed them.
Uh,
You showed them your fights.
well, we looked at a couple here and there. I
Couple.
said, or you can look them up online and whatever after this meet. We'll have fun.
Hey, fighting's a part of the game. It's a part of the
That's
game.
right.
Not at their level yet,
I
but
said, yeah,
someday
you
they
can
might
do
have to
it.
get there.
That's right. That's right.
The big news of the summer, Brad, is the contract, right? And something that you look at your story and you look at every step of the way, it feels like, just looking at and talking with you, getting to know you, how I've gotten to know you over the last season and change now, at some point along the way, you've had to prove somebody wrong, or you've had to prove yourself maybe more than other players in the American League because of a lack of a draft status, or I look back of having to start in the North American Hockey League before getting to the USHL, playing at Ferris State, not a place that perennially kicks out AHL, NHL players. So at these different points along the way, Brad, you've had to not do more than others, but maybe in some ways do a little bit more than others to get to where you've gotten to. And now you're at any point this season as a two-way NHL contracted player, at any point it might come true. The dream might come true. Have you really grasped that yet? And now how close you've put yourself to obviously achieving the ultimate hockey player's dream?
I don't think it's really kind of fully kicked in yet until, I mean, there's one goal at the end, and that's, to play in the NHL. It's every kid's dream and all that stuff. And just super grateful for the opportunity to go one step closer and, kind of like you said, just proving people wrong and proving myself right. So it's a lot of stuff away from the scenes with family, and I've had a great support staff behind me, and they just told me every step you take, just lean on everybody that you can that will support you and will be there for you. And so I have to, give a lot of thanks to everybody that was, in San Jose and Wichita, last year in Iowa, whether it be teammates, coaches, yourself, just people you can learn and grow off of, and just because it's a lot about being a good person, right? Like everybody knows we're all so close in skill and this and that in hockey, and just I want to continue being a good person because that's what's going to take you the farthest probably in life. And but like I said, super grateful and super honored to even be given the opportunity. So and I know that the hard work is just starting, but super excited.
It's an attitude like that that has gotten you to where you're at right now, on the doorstep of potentially playing in the National Hockey League. That path, there has had to have been some points where you've had your back against the wall and you've just went, man, here I am. It happens to every player at some point along the course of their career. It'll happen to Sidney Crosby someday, where eventually they have to turn a corner and do something else, or consider maybe it's time to do something else. At any point in your career were you at, and I know you're young, but at any point have you had those moments where you've sort of been on the edge of a knife and I could take things one way or I could stick with it and I can ride this thing out?
Yeah, I mean, I think first started when I was 16 or 17 years old. I got sent down, to the North American League. I didn't make my USHL team in that year one, and I ended up just I was like calling my parents, like I don't know, and it wasn't the end of the world looking back, but as a kid, like that's probably the first time I'd been cut by a hockey team. So just dealing with that, and then like I remember talking to my mom, and kind of the same thing you were saying, like you can take this two ways. You can just give up and quit on yourself, or you can prove that you belong there. And so that's kind of the mindset that I've had the entire time. And it was the same my first year pro in San Jose when I got sent down, and the only thing that they tell me is that it's a numbers issue, and you're playing great and all this stuff. But I just kind of took the same way. I loved my time there, and the people that I met there. My teammates were awesome, and it gave me that confidence back on the ice. But just yeah, you can take it two ways, and you always want to take it with the positive route. And I know it's tough, but that's just what's got to be done.
Anything you would tell age 16 Brad Marek, if you could, knowing what you know now in your mid-20s?
Yeah, just keep going. I mean, it all falls in together, and enjoy the moment because it goes by so fast. Like that feels like it was yesterday, and I still will catch up with some of the guys here and there that I played with that first year, and we just talk about how much fun we had and growing up together now. Like some of them are not playing hockey anymore, and they, tell me the same thing. Now just enjoy it because it goes by, and when it's done, you got to go to the real world, and nobody wants to do that.
No, I'm still not doing it here. I'm living proof of
Right,
that. I'm trying to
right,
stay away from the real world
right,
as
right.
long as I can, sitting here in the Wild locker room, getting to interview hockey players for a living. I'm very blessed.
Yeah.
For guys that played in the ECHL, it sometimes gets a bad rap because if you watch an ECHL game and you look at the rosters of players that play in that league, it's a tremendously skilled league. There
Yeah.
are great players in that league. There are great teams in that league. The bad rap maybe comes at times from some of the shenanigans that you deal with how teams travel, or some of the teams maybe they don't spend money the way that players would hope they would. Did you have a welcome to the ECHL moment at all for you where you went like, all right, it's time to put my boots on the ground here and grind?
Yeah, I mean, probably just the bus, like we were talking about earlier. Like, there's some bad trips that
Yeah.
you got to take. Last week, it was the last weekend, and I had been down for like 10 games at the end of the year or something. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm going up for the last weekend. I don't know what's going to happen. But we got a bus to Rapid City, which was so long. You're doing it overnight,
From
and I don't
Wichita?
sleep.
Are you coming from
Yeah,
Wichita at the time? Oh,
yeah. And it's like I don't sleep on the bus, whatever, whatever. So we get out there, it's fine. Spend our 2 days out there. Well, probably 45 seconds left in the game. I catch a stick and get 6 stitches on my cheek, and now I got to ride home with I can't see out of my eye, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't ever want to do this again. Like this is terrible. This is terrible. Um, but no, moments like that. But it's so fun though too, right? Like so many skilled players, so many good guys that, come through the league or spend their time there. And I was a younger for my age, like pro at that time. For me at least, it was young for me, but just great experience. Like I said, I mean, it taught me a lot about pro hockey, and it taught me how to be a pro if you want to be at those next levels.
what have you learned about being adaptive as a player? I think the one thing I've learned being around pro hockey now for the amount of time I've been around it is there are some remarkably talented players that will never make the National Hockey League because they're just not skilled enough to be an NHL player, and they're unwilling to be something else. Have you seen your game shift? Because I would imagine, as someone who was cut from teams and sent down more so than maybe other players have been, you've had to adapt. How have you seen your game adapt from, you mentioned 16 years old going down? What have you done to adapt and then find a role as you've continued to take steps and move up the rung of the pro hockey ladder?
Yeah, I mean, I just in the back of my head, it's what role can I fit that somebody else can or nobody else is willing to, whether it be winning faceoffs as best as I can or killing penalties. Even if it's going the power play and sit in front of the net and just go get pucks to the guys that are going to score. Um, just the simple things that I've always made sure was good in my game, blocking shots, just little things that everybody can do, but not always wants to do all the time. Um, just stuff like that. I mean, goals will happen. You go to the net, goals are going to come, assists are going to happen. It's just doing those little detailed things every time, I think, is what I really wanted to focus on. And I knew it would take me somewhere, and there's still a lot more that I have to do. But it's just good, like setting little goals for myself and try to use my body a little more next year, hit a couple more and, win more puck battles and have better face-off percentage. And that's my goals going into the year and stay on the same kind of forecheck, get it in, go to work. Let's turn the puck over and let's score a goal.
You bring up the face-off circle. I could spend a lot of time talking with guys who win face-offs. You're one of them. The Iowa Wild missed you severely for a lot of reasons when you were injured. Face-off percentage was one of those areas because towards the end, before you got hurt, they were putting you out there about every time we needed a key face-off win, whether it was power play, penalty kill, odd man, even strength, you name it. If you would sometimes go out there to win the faceoff and then go right off the ice. Like that's how
Yeah.
important you were on the faceoff
Yeah.
dot. Walk me through what you're looking at coming in, and I'm not asking you to divulge any trade secrets here if there's any opponents that'll watch this. If there
Yeah.
are, thank you for watching the Ride in the Bus
Yeah.
podcast. But walk me through as you step into the dot, what are the simple things that you're looking for as you address how am I going to win this face-off against your opponent?
I think early in the game, looking at first their hand, if they're on the left side of the dot more, or they're on the right side of the dot, you can find or have an idea of which way they want to win the pucks. So my dad taught me this a long time ago, and it's a simple thing. So if they want to win it back to their defenseman on whatever side, you say, okay, well, stop them from winning it to that side, right? So counter move, whether it be take the stick away or go under the stick and turn your body or on your forehand, like get it away from the dangerous areas. That's how I was always taught, and just using my strength, trying to stay low. But I mean, it's still, I learned a ton of stuff from whether it be Ben Jones last year with his foot thing. I still don't know how he does it, but yeah, I wish I could. I'm going to try to learn how to do it this year and really sit down with them and talk about it. But because you see guys using that move all the time, like I would lose to gosh, what's his name all the time? Oh, Carpenter when we were in San Diego, he would do that too. I can't figure it out, but it's just cool things you learn along the way, like from your teammates or opponents. You're like, oh, I'm going to try that in practice, So, yeah, I think those are some of the key things for me.
You bring up Ryan Carpenter and centers specifically have this unique little battle within the game. It's really one of the only places you see it in hockey because hockey is such a free-flowing game where faceoffs are the one set play, if you will, and centers one-on-one. You have battles, and I would imagine whether it's in college or junior or pro, you play against a lot of the same teams. A lot of the times you're getting the same line matchup. Is there one center that you can think of where you just went consistently time and time again, I could not beat this guy?
Yeah, O'Reilly on Milwaukee. He's the best. I mean, he's still, I don't want to call him old, but he's old for the game, right? Over 1,000 AHL games, like huge honor to him. He's a fantastic player, and there's reasons he does it. He can score goals, he can win faceoffs, he can do everything, and still, it's crazy. Like nobody wants to take draws against him when we play him in Milwaukee. I definitely don't want to do it, But it's like cool when you beat him and you're like, oh, I got him. I got him now. And then he'll do something new and beat you again. And you're like, oh, well, back to square one.
Do you have any new tricks up your sleeve? And I'm not asking you to tell us about them, but have you thought of any or worked on any this summer?
I've been working on a couple, actually. I got two new things I'm going to try.
I'll have you show me when the camera's off sometime. I'll look forward to seeing
Yes.
them.
Yes. Yes.
Coming back to Des Moines, coming back to Iowa, I know you've spoke really highly about it. You've enjoyed it here. You and I got to go to a symphony together at one point late in the year. That was a blast. Our significant others joined us as well. A great evening. But Des Moines, favorite spots, favorite things to do when you do have some off days. Where's Brad Marek hanging out at? What are you doing? I know sometimes it's just be at home and rest up. But also, last year specifically, you had a lot of time in Des Moines. What did you do? What places did you learn about while you were here rehabbing and that you're looking forward to seeing again come hockey season?
Yeah, great question. So I would say early in the year when we didn't have games right away, we went to the farmers market on Saturday mornings downtown. That was awesome. That was great. I would even go after morning skate sometimes when it was still open. Just go down there, grab some stuff. We'll get a coffee and we'll walk around. And at that point in the time, or at that point of the year, I was pretty nervous. So it was good for me to get away from everything and just be like, I'll just people watch for 25 minutes whenever I go home. And we were just talking about it yesterday. It's a place called Paws and Pints. It's a dog place. We have two dogs who love running around and being crazy. So they love it, right? It's just let them go do their thing. They get to play. They get to run around, and it's fun for us. We get to get some time together and away from them, but still got an eye on them. So we're looking forward to that again.
Dog breeds and names, what are they?
We have a golden doodle. He's 5. His name is Louie. And then we have a Cavapoo. He's like 20 pounds. He's 2 years old. His name's Murphy.
Murphy. Oh, that's a good dog name. I
It's a
like
good
that.
dog. He's got the wicked underbite, and we actually adopted him in Des Moines last year.
Was that
Yeah,
when we had the adopted dogs come in that one day? Was it through that or a
no,
different day?
we rescued him. So she was doing her nursing stuff at Mercy there, and one of her coworkers showed her this dog that somebody wasn't they didn't want anymore or something, and kind of he got mistreated a bit or something. So we took him in, and he was super scared and skittish, but oh gosh, now he's sleeping on my chest
Yeah.
and he's all over us, and he loves her. He's always following her around, but two awesome dogs.
That sounds like he's found a great home in
Yeah,
Murphy.
yeah.
Returning guys for the season, is there somebody that you'd want for sure to be on a golf scramble team with you, and is there somebody that you would never want to be on a golf scramble team with you? Who are those two guys?
Ben Jones dominates, right? Everybody knows that. David Spacek dominates. Both two good golfers. Um, Probably not like Banks or something. He probably stinks.
He's
Um,
such an easy target, isn't he?
I know. It's
He
just
just
always that comes
invites
to
it,
your head.
doesn't he?
It's
He just
just
invites it.
Banks. Yeah. I don't know. Banks would be fun, but probably not Banks. I don't know about Mike. I don't know how Mike is.
I've heard Mikey's pretty good.
I bet. Like
Yeah.
I'm probably the worst one, so there's no like
So really, you're
talking
the
me,
guy that no one wants on their scramble
Exactly.
team.
I'm just the fun guy, I'm the glue guy.
But you need that glue guy. Makes
That's right.
one, two shots
Hey,
around, but when the group's down, you pick them up. So I
I'll
would,
hit a
yeah,
putt every once in a while, and
yeah.
I'll go back to the cart and get a beverage for you or something.
Rest of the summer for you guys. Have you done your trips? Do you have any fun trips planned before? As we all know, those of us who work in hockey, you travel in between May and September because once September gets here, we travel enough, and it's
That's
not by
right.
our choice.
Yeah.
So, any fun plans or things you and Kristen are looking to finish up here before the puck drops officially in October?
We actually went on like a kind of a spur of the moment Europe trip that we were like, okay, we didn't make the playoffs, unfortunately. And like you said, you only have a certain window to take these trips or whatever. So we got to go to Paris, which we actually saw Spacek and Juracek in Paris, which was pretty cool. So we got to spend some time with them for one of the days. We were in Barcelona, and then we were up and down like the coast of Italy, which was beautiful. But we were there for I don't know a week and a half. It was long. I missed the dogs at that point, and
Yeah.
I wanted to be home, but it was really good, and just we had a great time. It was beautiful and so much good food, and I definitely needed to come home and work out after that. But it was good. Just a lot of bread.
What was the best thing you ate all trip?
And I don't know how to say it, but eclair or whatever those things
Like an
are
eclair,
called.
yeah.
Yeah, they had this one bakery we found in Paris. It had the best. I just was like, that's my breakfast every morning. I don't care. I'm on vacation. Calories don't count.
Brad, I can't thank you enough for parking some time here today. It's thrilling to know you're going to be coming back for to the club here, and also thrilling to know that you've got another level to try to get to next year. And I know for you, that's what the ultimate end goal is. Congratulations on a very well-earned contract, and we'll look forward to seeing you in camp up in St. Paul for starters.
Yep. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. And like I said earlier, wouldn't be here without, the whole staff and the boys and the fans, especially. Like, great support all night gives us the jam to go.
One of the better guys you'll find in Brad and Marek, and whale of a centerman at that. Should add a lot of depth as he did last year, and I tell you, he climbed the lineup pretty quickly too before he got injured, playing more minutes than maybe even he thought he was going to play last year. So Brad Marek, a big part of the Iowa Wild fold for the coming season, and who knows, maybe even the Minnesota Wild fold as well. So thanks to Brad for giving us some time there after closing up hockey camp for the week. Pretty neat story there with Brad and the hockey camp, and yeah, that's it for Brad. One quick update before we get to the end of our show here. Wild on Wheels, actually, as this episode comes out, will be debuting the evening of this episode coming out on July 24th. We've got the block party going on tonight down at the Science Center of Iowa, so we hope you'll all join us as well. But if you can't make it at short notice, if you can't make it to the Science Center downtown tonight for the block party, although if you can, I recommend it. Other options, if you want to check out Wild on Wheels, it's a great block party that we do throughout Iowa over the course of the summer. Some dates to look at. July 31st out in Indianola, as well as in Carlisle on August 22nd, and then really a primer to the regular season, the middle of September in Newton, which will be great. So again, that's July 31st in Indianola, August 22nd in Carlisle, and September 18th out in Newton for Wild on Wheels, presented by Quickstar. Ready to hit the road. What a great initiative, the Iowa Wild, just continuing to pour into the community here in Des Moines as we gear up for the regular season beginning in October. With that, a big thanks to Brad and Marek, as well as to our producer, Abby Kimball, and to all of you, our listeners and our viewers, for tuning in here today to episode 52 of Ridin' the Bus, the official Iowa Wild podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be on the road again for another episode coming your way soon. Until then, I'm Ben Gislason, and as always, 2 honks for the win.